Sri Lankan Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe announced his resignation, thousands of anti-government protests stormed President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's official residence in central Colombo. The president was moved out of his residence on Friday in anticipation of the protest. His whereabouts are unknown. Here are more details.
Sri Lankan police fired tear gas at protesters on Saturday who were demanding that President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and his government resign over the country's worst economic crisis in recent memory. Thousands of protesters carrying Sri Lankan flags rode on the relatively few vehicles on the roads due to the acute fuel shortage. Others rode bicycles and many walked to protest sites in the capital, Colombo, after police lifted an overnight curfew. They broke through the barricades at the high-security fort area. At least 30 people, including 2 policemen, were injured in clashes with the protesters. Rajapaksa is facing calls for resignation since March. He was using the president's house as his residence and office since April, when protesters came to occupy the entrance to his office. A group of his own parliamentarians have addressed a letter to him, urging him to step down and appoint a new prime minister and an all-party government. A viral video on social media showed a VIP motorcade at the Colombo International Airport, where a Sri Lanka Airlines aircraft was parked. Amid the turmoil, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe on Saturday summoned an emergency meeting of all political parties and also requested the Speaker to summon Parliament. The anti-government protests in April had forced the resignation of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, the elder brother of President Rajapaksa, in May. The protesters also clashed with railway authorities in the towns of Galle, Kandy and Matara as the demonstrators forced authorities to operate trains to Colombo. Protesters said they will not relent until Rajapaksa quits the presidency. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
We are further joined by Asanga Abeyagoonasekera from Washington, D.C. on the current situation in Sri Lanka. Sir, tell us what is the latest situation in Colombo and where is President Rajapaksa?
Well, the situation is completely out of control right now. You can see there were 71 people have been injured. Several journalists have been attacked. It is people storming the president's office, the residence, and you have a government resigning. So President Rajapaksa has been, taken to the military protection. So he's under military protection.
So where are the protests headed and how does the political class, including the ruling party and the opposition, see a resolution of the crisis?
Well, they would have to form a multi-party government and immediately bring in political stability, or the anarchic situation will continue in the country. With the present economic status of the country, there could be many deaths and a huge humanitarian crisis will come into the country. So immediate political stability. The next leader who has the most number of seats is the opposition leader in the parliament. So you would have to give leadership as well as bring in all parties together and listen to the protesters' demands from the beginning. What they were saying.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Asanga. Now moving on, rescue teams have shifted over 15,000 stranded pilgrims